The fools in life want things fast and easy. Money, success, attention. Robert Greene. My friends, that's not the way life works. It's not the way things work in learning how to chart the market. If you think you're going to pay somebody and they're going to give you the secret keys, you are being fooled. Never seen that work. I'm not saying it's super hard. It's going to take you forever. But I'm saying you have to devote the right amount of time to it to master it, like you had to do with any craft that you have learned, anything you've mastered in your own business. I'm a trial lawyer. It took me many, many years, decade or more, to get really good at what I do. I'm now 3 decades into that, and I'm extremely good at it. Same with learning these charts. You have to put the time in. You got to get that mileage in. Every day, 10 to 15 minutes, that's all we ask. The more you do this, the more you practice trade. Can't burn yourself out. There's only so much you can absorb in a day. I've come to the conclusion that 10 to 15 minutes is plenty of time, but my friends, you got to do it each and every day. I encourage you. I'm your biggest fan. I know you can do this. Some of the best traders I know have the least formal education. It's not about that. It's about your dedication to the craft. And again, this is as much art as it is science, mathematics, all those other kinds of things. You've got to get a feel for it. Got to get a feel for the individual stocks, the ETFs that you're interested in, the overall feel of the market, and you get that by practice trading. Once you start getting good at the practice trading, you start doing the fractional trading, maybe $100, and you end up again, buying a share of something or a fraction of a share, and then you practice and see how good you are, because real money does really show whether or not. You just can't write that off if you lose on that trade. Now, again, I'm talking about very small dollar amounts, $100 a trade when you're learning. If you start playing with real money because you have real money, you'll see that real money disappear real quick, and that will, of course, sour you to everything. So practice to show yourself approved. Let's jump into these charts. By the way, Patreon members, I've already done your charting cryptos, commodities, and currencies. It'll be uploaded this evening to the Patreon page. And everybody else, we send it out to you on Friday. Some interesting things to see there. Now, we see as the markets close, everything is pretty much down except the Qs, which is just totally flat. So let's start with the S&P 500. We can see that we have a green candle for the week. You notice it's not going higher than last week. We look at the 2-day chart again, topping out right where it was before. This represents Monday and Wednesday because, of course, the markets were closed for Independence Day in the States yesterday. And, of course, we can see on the half-day chart, things have been sliding along sideways down in the morning, pulled a little up in the afternoon, never got us out of the negative, though, down 0.15%. So sluggish, we might say, on Wednesday. We can see where the volume is here. Not very high at all. We are missing a day. So again, we'll keep an eye. Are we topping out in these markets or not? I don't know. I mean, we can see we do still have a green up candle, so things haven't flipped over. Prices above on this weekly trend line on the half-day chart. It's above. Same on the 2-day, so we'll keep an eye on things. We look at where things are on the NASDAQ 100. Again, about the same as far as the week goes. Sliding sideways on the 2-day. Sliding sideways. I said that right, yeah. And on the half-day, we can see we're above the weekly trend line, and again, sliding sideways here. So we'll keep an eye as the week progresses through Thursday and Friday. What about 20-year bonds? Well, they were trying to move their way up. We weren't excited because why? We kept saying this. Very, very, very flat trajectory on our trend line. That doesn't bode well for up movement when it gets flat. Now, it can, of course, recover. Case in point, you can see where things got but we were already in the up trade, right? And then things flattened out. So we could take a little bit of a rollback since we had gotten in and made some profit. And then, of course, it took off again. Well, the problem is here, it never really got out of sort of the sideways slide. We got excited week 2, beginning the 20th of June. And then, of course, we saw the Greene spinning top with high volume. Doesn't necessarily make you feel good when that happens unless it's a turnaround. And this was not. And now we see things slacking off even more. So bonds may be getting ready again to go the way of continued down move. Now we see, of course, the 2-day. We had a prior warning for the Thursday, Friday candle and the Monday, Wednesday candle, of course, pushing through the weekly trend line, the weekly trend line, as we have said on the 2-day chart, and then the half-day bolting down. When you see a weak move like this starting, you don't have to jump into it, ever. Just because things turn green or just because they turn red doesn't mean you have to pull the trigger. You want things to excite you about the move. Now, let's look at where we are on gold. Gold down 0.35%. Aren't anywhere near the low of last week. We do, though, see that we are right there on the trend line, on the weekly trend line, on the weekly chart. Same on the 2-day chart, right there on the weekly trend line. Half-day jumped above and is trying to move back below, so we will keep an eye on things, see if gold is bottoming out in its down move. Maybe we can go long again, maybe take a little profit from this down trade, but nothing yet to give us that assurance. Lastly, we'll go to Bitcoin, pulling back 2.22%. We see that Bitcoin reached its most recent high back in the week beginning Tuesday, June the 20th. That was after the Juneteenth holiday. And of course, it's not reached that high since then. We can see on the 2-day chart where things have been sliding sideways. We're still above, just barely above, the weekly trend line on the 2-day chart. Same on the half-day, where we can really see that sideways slide. So we'll keep an eye on Bitcoin, see if this move, if we're just digesting the up gains and it's going to take off again, like we saw on the S&P here when it did, or if it's going to roll back over, heading down. That is where we are, folks, as we end the day after the 4th of July holiday here on the 5th for the 6th. That is Thursday. 2 more market days left. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.